Happy Wednesday, everybody. Yay. How's everybody doing today?
Amazing. Glad to be here. Glad to be reunited with all you superstars, and let's get this going.
Awesome. So we wanted to thank everybody first and foremost for chiming in today to our top producing webinar hosted by the Downey Association of Realtors. We wanted to say thank you to Jeanette and her wonderful staff at the Downey Association of Realtors. Thank you, Ms. Jeanette, for putting this together. And also for those that requested that we do a part 2 from our first session, which was early last month. So we thank you all for wanting to hear the new tactics that we wanted to share with you all, right, Anabella?
Right. Thank you, guys. It's an honor, and we're truly humbled. Thank you, guys, and we're glad to be back.
Awesome. So thank you again, and we're excited to be here. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce my amazing co-host, Miss Anabella Jimenez. Miss Anabella Jimenez is currently with Century 21 Realty Masters. She's been a full-time realtor since 2004. She's a consecutive quarterly award recipient for the Downey Association, as well as in the top annual 10 agents for the Downey Association on a realtor on a yearly basis. But I wanted to share, most importantly, Miss Anabella was awarded the top 250 top producers by NAREP. So let's give Anabella a round of applause.
Yeah.
Good job, Miss Anabella. We're so proud of your accomplishment. And myself, my name is Jennifer Avellan. I'm the team leader for the Avellan group at Keller Williams Southeast Los Angeles, also known as KW Downey. We're a top producing team, and we're in the top 8% of realtors nationwide. In 2019, we closed 72 transactions, and our main goal is to do expansion and expand to other market centers throughout the nation. So thank you all again, everybody, for having us today. So are you ready, Miss Anabella?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Awesome.
Are you guys ready?
Is everybody ready? Yeah. So we're just going to give you a brief summary of what we're going to be covering today. So there's 3 main areas that we wanted to discuss today. Number 1, we talked about this on our last session, which is being the guru of information. So we're going to be sharing some important informational pieces that you guys could use in your business to help generate more business and do more outreach to your clients. Number two, we're going to be covering tactics, techniques, and what you could do to take action. So we have a really good segment on that. And then we're going to end with mindset. We know how important it is. Your actions come from what you're thinking about on a regular basis. So we'll finish up our webinar here today with our mindset. So let's go back to being the guru of information. We talked about why is it important to be the guru of information, because if we're not sharing information, stats, stuff that can affect our clients, who are they going to go to if they're not going to go to you?
Yeah, and that's interesting because that was actually one of my first questions I was going to ask you. Now that we're in a different phase of COVID, and then given the protests and all that, what is it exactly that you're sharing, or how are you continuing to connect you, Jennifer, with your clients or your database?
So that's a great question, Anabella. So there really isn't a difference aside from the fact that we are touching our database more frequently right now in these times. It's important for everybody to communicate. If you thought, 1 time a month was too much, no such thing. As long as you're giving tidbits of value, it's never too much, right? If you're just trying to get business, you're not coming from contribution, people will sense it. And that's when you're not going to have receptive clients. So if you're, again, coming from contribution and you're presenting pieces of information that are valuable to somebody, they're going to want to continue receiving that information, right?
And it's so true. Yeah, and it's so true. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's so true, because it's like there's strength in numbers. So in doing so, I know last time, this was something that we shared, and it's just like you imagine you're the professional, you're the advisor, and even you crave that information, in general, because I know the first time around, that's something that the audience kept reaching out to Jennifer, to Jeanette, to myself. Can you share some of those slides? And
So there's actually 2 pieces of information that I love sharing with clients when I'm doing my care calls. One of the questions they always ask is, what's going on with the market, right? There's a lot of misinformation out there. So it's your job, guys, to really clarify and present their information properly. One client reached out to me and said, oh my God, they said that home prices have dropped by its doomsday scenario. And I was like, hold up, right? The devil's in the details. So I'm going to share with you some market data that my team leader, she's awesome, Monica Rivera, she gives us our market updates on Tuesdays. So let me pull up that information. Hold on one second. Can everybody see this?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Here, let me start if you want while you work
why don't
on
you
that.
get started? Yeah, see if
Here. Let me go ahead. Can you guys see this? Can you see it? You are screen sharing. Can you see this information? Okay,
yes,
perfect. All right, perfect. So with that being said, it's yeah, it's important because the data like this reads tells us what people are looking to things right now. They're looking for help and comfort. So it's important, like a caring human being, that we help them with our resources. For example, most buyers, most consumers and sellers are thinking that there's limited showings because of everything that's happening around us. But look at these information that was shared by Showing Time. Look at how much we did take a dip, obviously, originally when it first started, but look at how much it's gone up in the last 4 weeks. So there's sales being generated out there. Like I said, strength is in the numbers. Sometimes people just need to see this information and they're like, if someone else is doing it, I can do it too. And let me know, Jennifer, when you're ready.
Okay.
Look at it. And the numbers don't lie. Look at the same thing with the purchase applications increase. There's a lot of loans being generated out there. There's also the myth, what about the job losses? Look at this graph where it's basically, you know, we're at an all-time low. Yes, there was a high unemployment rate back in March, April, but look, it's dropped significantly, almost by half.
So what does that tell you, everybody? So initially, when COVID was fresh and new, a lot of people were furloughed or actually laid off. But look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. So it's not that doomsday scenario where everybody's out of work, et cetera, et cetera. You can see that the unemployment filings have gone down by half. So that means if people are not filing for unemployment, that means that they're actually working. So that just means there's a lot more sellers and buyers available on the market. Let me see if can you see my screen now, everybody?
Not yet.
That's weird. Okay.
I think, Anabella, you have to stop sharing so Jennifer can share.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Jennifer.
So can you guys see my screen now?
No, now just share your screen.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys.
This is what I love about, you know, doing these things, because the more you're engaged, the more you throw yourself out there, the more you learn, because I'd rather us have these glitches here and not in front of our clients.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so. Okay,
there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yay. So this will help you guys put things into perspective. Now this is a chart that shows data for LA County. So the key areas we're looking at are homes that are put on the market, the average sales price, the average price for properties that have gone under contract, the average number of total inventory sold, and then average number of new inventory. So the period that we're going to be looking at is the pre-COVID data right here, this first column. Then you have the next column, which shows you
the column is not showing.
What was that?
Slide. The slide. We can't see the slide.
Really? Oh no. Okay.
Just click on it double.
I'm not sure why.
Open. There you go.
Can you see now?
No.
Go to share screen, and you may have to select the alternate screen once it opened.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys.
Hi, Miss Monica.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Bummer. Why don't you continue while I figure this out?
Okay, perfect. So anyhow, just like, let's see, you have to, no, it's kind of, I have to wait because I can't, you have to stop sharing your screen. So I'd rather, so
No.
does anybody have questions while Jennifer, no, continue sharing. Try to sharing. Does anybody have any questions? I know this is a part 2. Did you guys have any additional questions with regards to what we shared on the first phase? Any challenges you guys have been facing? Myself, I noticed that in the last week and a half, I mean, it looks like everybody just decided that this is the market to buy. It's like I've been getting a lot of calls, whether it's sellers, buyers. I mean, everybody's out there. We see the higher volume in scheduled showings. Oh, there you go. You got it, Jennifer. Yeah, you're good. You were there and then you lost it.
Okay, can you see it now?
No, you just had it.
Oh my God.
Anabella, I had a call from a broker at 9:30 last night, and he was telling me how great the business is right now. Like it's nonstop.
It's nonstop. It's like I start here in the office. I show up at 7 in the morning. I'm taking calls as late as 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's just people, I was hoping to have this Saturday off, and it's like I had an additional 3 appointments. And whether it's buyers trying to get pre-qualified, and yes, we're facing the challenges where we have some of our clients that were affected through COVID. But even then, I mean, they're trying to find co-signers. We're getting extensions. You know, it's back to normal. I think people have come to realize that this is something that's gonna linger on until December. So, you know, it's the sooner you embrace it, the sooner you will overcome.
Yeah. I wonder if you guys are so busy because some agents are not working. And if that's the case, that's a shame.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. And then especially when I'm talking to the expireds in the morning, that's the one thing that I'm getting, that the agents were telling them that the market's dead. It's pretty much no showings. It's buyers are non-existent. No one's qualifying. I mean, which we've shared in these slides, that's a myth. So that's something that as you know, us realtors, you know, we need to come together and make sure to convey the message, you know, because there's people out there that are not informed and that want to start the process. It's time for change, especially right now. They've been cooped in their homes. A lot of them figured, hey, it's time for me to get a home office now that this is their new normal. You know, or maybe a bigger home, maybe that home with a pool, you know, so we just got to get out there. And especially with all of the regulations and changes here in the state of California, definitely targeting the absentee owners, providing them with the new COVID forms, and so forth. Jennifer?
Awesome. Anabella, for some reason, I'm not able to figure out my slides. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just going to have to, we'll have to just share the link with everybody after. So we'll just have to use your slides for the time being, Anabella.
Okay, no problem. So with that, going over the statistics. So as we were talking about, just like we were trying to get Jennifer's slides. So what do we do right now? It's more about now that you've seen, it's been the last 3 months. We've as an industry, we've survived. I think it's like, the biggest change I see coming is our fourth quarter tends to be the slowest quarter, but I think because of the numbers we're seeing now, because of the limited inventory, we're going to see a lot more action. So I'm glad everybody got their rest because now it's time to work. What's your take on that, Jennifer?
So I'm so glad that you're talking about all of that. I think going back to the data, the information, what are you seeing, like the difference between the previous showings? Remember you had the slide. I was looking at the showings. We had looked at the graphs, and we're pretty much, if you compare to last year the same time to this year right now, there's only like a 5% difference. So we could definitely see it. Yeah, what like Jeanette had said, that there's a lot of more business that's taking place. Just like you said, Anabella, you're super busy right now. It makes sense because you see that the amount of activity that's taking place. one of the screenshots that I wanted to share with everybody was I was interacting with the listing agent for a property it was in Downey, and I reached out to the agent because we had submitted an offer on it, and I asked the agent, how many offers are we competing against? And just take a wild guess how many offers they had on the table.
I'm gonna say at least 25.
Close. It was 19 offers.
Oh.
So when I shared that screenshot with my client, those are the things that are going to help you with that client, but as well as any other clients that you're helping with, to put them into perspective, setting the expectations that this is a very strong market right now. Yes, the amount of inventory has gone down, but we still have a lot of buyers on the market, and this is why we're not seeing an adjustment on pricing. So you have to educate your clients as to what's going on in the market, what to expect. So when you're showing them properties, when they want to say, oh, I want to submit an offer 10,000 below, well, let's look at what's going on in the market. And when you see that the prices have actually gone up like 1%, somewhere between 0.3% and 1% since pre-COVID to now, they're going to not want to come in with any kind of lowball offers. It's going to save you a lot of time and energy, right, Anabella?
Yeah, you're so right. And I think with all that being said, now more than ever, it's important to hire a professional. And we're seeing the professionalism stand out more than ever during these times. And it's important, even when you're facing, it's developed a new set of standards per se. I mean, you can't just hire the average individual, who's not going to be committed to the consumer. We have to make sure, like you said, keeping them informed, being properly equipped, and guiding them because you do have to definitely have that mindset where what it's going to take to get a home sold. It's not like, Jennifer, you're going in there. This because you're in there. You're in there day in and day out. You're competing, and you're getting your offers accepted, so what it's going to take. And that's what it's going to take as a consumer to get through this. I mean, if you're going to get your offer accepted now more than ever, you have to work with a professional.
Absolutely. So is it a good time to buy right now, guys? What are some of the things that you could tell your buyers out there that are telling you, oh, I think I want to wait?
For my end, personally, the question I always ask them is, what's more important to you, the monthly payment or the price we set on your home? I mean, those are the two things where it's like, and 90% of the time, it's that monthly payment. And statistically speaking, we've never seen these types of interest rates. So yeah, definitely, it's the best time to buy.
So I'm so glad you said that, Annabelle. So one of the charts I was going to show everybody was, if you look at let's see, from 1970 to 2020, I have a chart that shows rates on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. If you look at what the rates were, let's say back in 1980, if anybody was doing real estate back then, the rates were 13.74%, right? Right now, we're looking at rates. I've seen FHA rates like 2.875, right? Anabella, what are you seeing rates right now?
We've locked them in 2.7. I mean, I remember early on when all this pandemic started, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we even got to see the 2.5s. I mean, it's been crazy. I mean, it's just like, why not? It's like almost they're giving you the house away. They're almost not charging any interest for home ownership. That's crazy.
I'm so glad you said that. So if you look at this chart, I know you can't see it, guys, but it's a steady decline like this if you look over almost like a 50-year period. So if you could basically tell your clients, if you don't buy now, where are the rates going to go? It's unlikely they're going to go to like 1%, even 2%, right? So now is the time to buy. This is what you need to share with your clients, charts like this. So that way they know that the only direction that the rates can go is going to go up, not further down, right? So that's one piece of information.
Right. It's a lot. Right. It's a lot to gamble on the money. And the best way is to make an informed decision. At the end of the day, it is an investment. So by providing them the proper information, they're making an informed decision, and they can feel confident that regardless of what's happening around them, especially if it's their first home, it's not a gamble, because as long as it makes financial sense for you and it's a great loan, which means you've got a 30-year fix, imagine for 2.7, 2.8, even 3%. I mean, that's amazing.
What other tidbits of information should we be sharing with our clients during these times?
Definitely. I would say, let's see, that's a great question. What's another, just I mean, overall, it's just the confidence that as long as it makes sense, because what I've noticed is what I've also shared with the clients, let's just say, because everybody's expecting a market correction, which is what it is. We're never going to see the prices of 2009 because obviously that was something once in a lifetime. You're not going to see it again. Yeah. So even if there's a correction in market by X amount of percentage, when you offset it with the interest rates, because remember, like Jennifer said, the interest rates are only to go up. So even if right now you're purchasing a home for at $500,000 for a 2.7% versus buying it for $500,000 at a 5%, which is 5.25%, which is something we were seeing last summer. I mean, it's going to offset your payment by $300 more. So even if you're buying at a higher price, you're still going to end up paying more. And then with all the benefits of tax ownership, you know, it's just crazy. Like when I sit down with my clients, I also show them how much are you paying in month rent? How long have you been paying for monthly rent? How much of that money are you going to recoup? So
I have a chart that I'll share with everybody. Well, I'll share it with Jeanette so she can share it with everybody, but that's a good one when we're doing our buyer consultation. That's really one to share. One other slide that I was going to share with you guys, again, we can get those from Jeanette later, is preparing your clients and letting them know that there are a lot of people that are going to try to take advantage of people going through hardship right now. So preparing them, letting them know that there's going to be COVID-19 scams out there. And you could reach out to your database to let them know either via email, video call, or just doing a text message, sharing with them with some of the common scams that are out there. Again, you want to protect your clients. You want to share information with them that could affect them on their daily lives. We have a duty to do that for our clients.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Yeah, because you're seeing a lot of it, especially now with the forbearance, and you know, a lot of people tend to mistake, you know, especially the consumers tend to think of it as a modification. You know, it's like back in the days when especially people were charging to conduct these modifications and help the consumer, which is free. Now with all the standards and everything that's been set in place by the government, you know, it's actually, we're not going to have this issue where we're going to have a lot of notice of defaults in the next 3 months because, you know, of the changes that were implemented. So that's actually a good point. With that being said, now that everything's done virtually, and I know you're the virtual guru, so how is it that you are initiating the initial buyer consultations, seller consultations? I mean, how's that been working out? How receptive is the consumer? You know, because we have a lot of people that tend not to be tech savvy. How's that working out for you, or what are the steps you're taking?
That's a great question. So I think, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Annabelle, I think most people now are accepting and embracing the new normal, right?
Right.
Putting on a mask is not such a, well, now that it's getting hot, I'm sure we're not looking forward to putting on our mask, but when you go to showings, they're already assuming that everybody's going to be coming with masks, or that they're coming with gloves. They're not resisting it as much. It's more like, oh, I forgot to bring my mask. So just being prepared in that respect. But I think like just like we were doing before, it's actually having a buyer consultation and spending that 30 minutes, 40 minutes preparing the buyers on what to expect, what's going on in the market, going over all the COVID forms, the protections that everybody is taking and implementing, the restrictions on having only 3 people in a home, so that when they arrive, they're not, you know, taken back like, oh, how come we have to go on rotation? So it's more of just spending that time explaining them on what to expect during the buying process. That's pretty much what we're doing, is again, just setting the expectations so there are no surprises. Also that, again, showing them the data, letting them know that we're still going to be expecting multiple offers. The prices are going to be going above the asking price. These are marketing strategies sometimes that listing agents price the properties aggressively just to create that frenzy. So when you set those expectations, they're going to be more comfortable. They're going to be more prepared to be willing to put in an offer above the list price. What are you seeing, Anabella? What are you guys doing differently to prepare the buyers?
And it's true. Preparing them via virtual appointments. I'm enabling the waiting room because obviously Zoom has become our best friend. And also because there's that myth, especially amongst us Latinos, you know, even the older generation, like the Spanish speakers, in their 60s, 70s, guess what? They have iPhones and they're learning how to use them via their kids. I mean, I have now, whereas before I was having challenges with DocuSign with them, now they have their emails, their kids are guiding them. They're even asking me, hey, we could, do a Zoom call or, call me via FaceTime. So everybody's getting themselves, everybody's taking time, I guess, this time to prepare themselves and learn to work from home, and more importantly, communicate from home, because us, especially here as Latinos, we tend to stay connected with our families. And now that we don't have that face-to-face interaction, so they've learned how to use these social media platforms and so forth to engage and communicate. And therefore, that's been an extension to us. And also what I try to do is, like I said, let them into the Zoom call, start the camera so they can start seeing. And what I'll do is I usually have, let me show you a little trick. What I'll do is, because remember, it's all about participation. So what I'll do is they'll see me, like, before I sit down, I'll start spraying, the seeds. So they too start feeling a little bit more comfortable, like, wow, like this agent's really prepared. And then also with the sellers, what I've learned now with Zoom, it's more than ever, there needs to be that connection, because obviously we don't have that face-to-face. So all of us realtors are starting to look the same. So what I recommend is, what I've done is I'll start off with an agenda and letting them know, for example, build your agenda where it has, today we'll be discussing the net sheet, the marketing plan, plan of action, the comparables, pricing, and what's my home worth in today's markets, and so forth. And then at the end, you have the question. So it sort of sets that expectation of what's, so you kind of take control of the situation. And because that's, especially your expireds and the more seasoned consumer, they're looking for guidance. And if they know you're taking the proper precautions, your even your Zoom calls are being done in a professional platform, I mean, that's priceless, and it speaks volumes as to why they should use you as a realtor.
Awesome. What I find amazing, Anabella, is it took a pandemic for us to do the things that we should have been doing a long time ago. And I remember you mentioned that on our last call. You said the things that your broker, our brokers, have been telling us to do with the outreach, the videos and things like that, we were basically forced to do it. But the good thing is the outcome. We've managed to find so many different ways to do outreach to our clients. It's not just that phone call, it's not that text message. Now we're doing the video calls. We're doing video, like bomb messages. We're reaching out to them on Facebook Live. So again, it took a pandemic for us to do the things that we should have been doing a long time ago, which is, I mean, that's the positive thing that came out of all of this, right?
And it's true. And it's kind of ironic, because it's something, a pandemic that was supposed to pull us all apart. It kind of brought us together, because more than ever, us as realtors, we've come to learn how much we rely on our vendors, and we should be appreciative, because of them, it's like working all of us as unity, and the realtors, and having that community that's helped us get across, and being able to survive as an industry. So that was also pretty amazing. So let me ask you this. Now that we're transitioning back, I mean, what changes have you noticed going back to the office? Any changes in schedule, or how are you readapting to this next phase of the pandemic with the consumer?
So we officially opened the office about 3 weeks ago, so we can meet with clients at the office, which is amazing. There's nothing better than actually meeting them face to face, and the clients are just so much happier to be able to actually see us in person, especially if it's the first time visits. We were doing the virtual calls, which helped a lot. For example, if you happen to meet with a client, we would do a video call with the lender, so that we're not doing, they were unnecessary. There were meetings that we could do without actually doing them in person. So those are some of the changes, that we're taking the precautionary measures, just like you said, of prepping the conference rooms before and then after, providing them with masks, providing them with gloves. So those are some of the things that we are doing. How about yourself, Anabella?
Same here. I've noticed, I mean, it's definitely helped a lot. Whereas what I've done is, yes, I'm meeting the clients here, but I'll have my laptop, and then I'll have, in order to limit the amount of people that are actually in the room, what I'll do is we'll start a virtual tour, a virtual Zoom call with the lender. And what I'll do is I'll also have an iPad for the client. So we'll have the 6 feet of spacing. So I'll sit them on one side and then I'm on the other. But what I do is I also provide them with a care package, which has a folder with obviously with all of my information, any questions or concerns, myths, truths to this market, stats, a pen, a notepad, so they have everything they need. And then obviously hand sanitizer for them personally, just to get that peace of mind that they are working with a professional. And that's, I think that's been very receptive from their end.
Awesome. Well, let's go into the tactics. What are some of the tactics or techniques, things that we could share with everyone that can help them with their business, get them into taking action? What are some of the top maybe 2 or 3 techniques that you've implemented or that you could share with us that you're seeing out there that other agents are using?
Definitely social media. Social media is, I think, now more than ever is more important because even getting on a video, I mean, before this, I was not too comfortable, like I said, with Zoom meetings or even just doing videos. But now it's more than ever that it's important that you learn to have a message, at least on a weekly basis, make it simple, effective, remain current, log in to get involved with your company. I know Keller Williams, they have a lot of resources. Century 21, we have a lot of resources. Learn your data, know your data more than ever, so that when you're speaking to to the consumer, whether it's at a family event or anywhere you're out, know that your delivery messages, whether you're delivering messages, if you're a buyer's agent or a listing agent, the consumer's hearing you. So make sure your conversations are all about, positive note, about the market, what the market's doing. And definitely, like I said, using the videos on social media and Zoom meetings. What about you, Jennifer?
So I wanted to share some really good techniques that I was able to gather from a mastermind session that I told you I attended. It was a 2-day mastermind session with breakout sessions, and these were the top producing agents throughout the Keller Williams system nationwide. And like I had said earlier, the importance of communicating, but when you're coming from value, from contribution, people are going to be receptive. So they're going to want to hear what you have to say, as opposed to, trying to get business, especially during these times. So these are events that virtual events that a lot of the that these teams have been hosting, or just different things that they were doing. So one particular team or agent started using a website called bannerseason.com. So she would go on Facebook seeing, like, let's say, images that one of her clients or past clients was posting. Like, let's say it would be a picture of her and her grandkids. So what she would do is she'd go to bannerseason.com, upload those pictures into that website, and she would mail them, for example, a mug with a picture of the grandkids on it. Just a nice little caring gift. I thought that was an amazing idea. One team had done for Memorial Day, so their core group of their past clients in their database, they sent a s'mores kit right before Memorial Day. So it had marshmallows and other things that they could do to make like those the marshmallows or the s'mores kit. And they did a virtual event around that. So everybody that had received the packet, they had them chime in onto like a Zoom call, and everybody's making s'mores. So I thought that was a really good idea. For those that love ice cream, this is a good idea too, which is coming up, is July 19th. July 19th is National Ice Cream Day. One of the teams had created an event at their local ice creamery, and now that we can actually go into some of these places now, they sent a coupon to their core group of past clients, their sphere, their database, and they invited them on a specific day to go to that ice cream parlor on National Ice Cream Day. And because they had provided them a coupon, I think they provide them like with a free scoop if they bought a scoop, something like that. Those are some events that you could do to touch your database. Another team had started doing like virtual games. So there's a website called bingobaker.com where they would do bingo each week. So again, that's a nice way to reach out to your database and get people together You don't even have to do it to your database. You could create a community Facebook page and start inviting people in the community. I thought that was really awesome. One particular team, they would do a monthly birthday. So in addition to, saying happy birthday or sending a card to their database, the last day of each month, all the birthdays that took place in that month, they would invite them to a restaurant and they'd provide them with 2 drink tickets. And they generally would get like 15 to 30 people to actually go to the event and RSVP. So you could do that to everybody in your database if you have a big budget, or you could just target maybe the top 10% of your database that are constantly referring you business. So those are just some of the ideas that I found were amazing. Some of the stuff that we used to do in the past were, for example, we do an estate planning session. We'd have an attorney come over and do the presentation. We do 1 hour in English and 1 hour in Spanish. But what we're going to be doing now is the virtual estate planning session, because a lot of people have been asking us about that. So those are some of the things that I want to share with everybody. Those are things that they can actually implement in their business that I found were amazing ideas.
That's actually a great idea. It's actually something we could take away from today. If we could all put it or schedule ourselves to create a Facebook group with just your clients or your past clients. And like Jennifer said, it's not going to take much, but that I took away that idea. For example, the birthdays. At the end of the month, just do a raffle. It's a $50, dinner, and then gather everyone that shows up to the Zoom call and you raffle it. You must be present to win. And who's not going to show up? I mean, these are easy techniques that could be done, and it's a reason to reach out to our past clients and to get them engaged, bring them into social media. If they don't have a Facebook, trust me, for a free dinner, they're gonna create an account. So that's a great one, Jennifer. Thank you.
Who doesn't like winning free stuff, right?
Our realtors better not say no, because that would be a lie.
Actually, we should do a raffle, right?
Right. We should do a raffle. But anyhow, going back, I mean, it's great. It's great with all of these things implemented. But I know one of the biggest things in our industry is, or challenges, I should say, is that we always tend to steer away with our schedule because there's this idea. There's this idea. Now I got to do this. Now I got to do this. Do you have any tips that you could share with us? Maybe technology or tools that you use to keep you on schedule and make sure that you do what, because everything's fun and games, but at the end of the day, we need to prospect and we need to keep ourselves accountable to our numbers. So is there anything that you could share with us?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. So one of the biggest takeaways from one of the trainings that we have, and I know we've been like swamped with trainings, right, is Gary Keller tells us it takes 66 times before you develop a habit, right? So actually setting your schedule 1 week in advance and then revisiting it the day before, not waiting till, being proactive with your time as opposed to being reactive. So when you don't do things, guys, you're basically allowing 66 days to reinforce those habits of not doing stuff. So you have 2 choices, either taking actions or not taking action. So setting your schedule a week in advance or even doing it the day before. What I loved about our team leader is we started doing a 9 a.m. mastermind. So it became a habit. It started as soon as we had the COVID that took place and we had to start doing everything virtually. I looked forward every single day to chiming into that 9 a.m. mastermind. It's always an informative piece of information, whether it's on forbearance plans, whether it's on tactics, on scripts. It was just about getting my day started at 9 a.m. every single day that reinforced that habit. I had to be at my computer, all ready to go, pumped up, to go out there and basically conquer and do all of my real estate activities. So I think the biggest takeaway would be developing those habits and knowing that it takes 66 times before you actually formalize a habit where it becomes a habit. And again, not doing it is basically 66 times of reinforcing not doing that behavior, right? How about yourself?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Especially, I myself am a major fan of scheduling on a weekly basis, scheduling the prior week, because it forces you to think and produce a schedule with intent. There's versus just doing it the night before. If you had a crappy day, then guess what? The next day, that's a message you're conveying in the next day's schedule. Whereas if you already have a schedule and there's something set in place, whatever happened today stays with today. We can always have bad days, but it's just how long do we carry them? I mean, it's just a matter of, okay, move on, it's done, and it's over. But one thing that has definitely helped me, and I'd love to share this, would be, I know I've shared this in the past, but for me, it's more about figuring out what are some your income producing activities versus your service producing activities. So in doing so, it allows you. Can you guys see the screen? Hello?
No.
I don't see it.
No? Okay, hold on, let me go back. Hold on. Share my screen. Give me a minute. Oh, can you share? I think I lost it. And that was so important. Now I know how you feel, Jennifer.
I know. I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, let me see if I can go back and get it. Give me a minute.
I think it's working. Yeah, it's working.
It's working? I just have to go back and get
see your home screen.
For some reason, yeah, hold on.
While Annabelle is looking that up, remember, guys, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't
exist.
Yes.
Can you see it now?
It doesn't.
Can you see it now? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You see?
Yes, we see it.
Last month I would have died. I'm like, see, now I learned how to figure this thing out. Okay. So going over what I've done is and I've shared this in the past, like I said, it's income producing activities versus servicing activities. So if you can figure this out, like figure out because we should remember, we should be spending 70% of our time and try to create, I know I've talked to you in the past about this, Monica, anchors. Having anchors where I know that's something she shared and I learned during the when I was staying at home is develop anchors. For example, where do you usually prospect? Where would you usually do lead follow-up? So you need to learn all that and then figure out what are service producing activities. So when you're servicing, you're not making any money. So you need to figure out what's the best use of time. And then another tool that I've used is gather your leads, your hot leads, figure out what they're worth. If you can name them, sorry, and I'm marking these, I don't know why, but it's marking, but anyhow, figure out how much each lead is worth. What would it be to you at the end of the commission? So put in the amount and then the name, and then let's see what have it right here. What changes or skills do you need to work on to implement to achieve your goals? And this is done by just doing a monthly business plan, because we know things change. So what I've done now is I'm just implementing a monthly business plan. And what sales scripts do you need to master if that's one of the challenges you faced? What's your plan for the next 30 days? And what are some personal goals that will, once you've accomplished these transactions, what are some personal goals that you can complete? So what's your thought on that, Jennifer?
That's good. So if you take that to your daily, like how many of us have our daily task lists, right?
Yes.
It's converting those task lists into success lists, prioritizing what are the absolute things that you have to do. Monica, I'm going to ask you a huge favor if you could share that slide where it shows the success list versus a task list. There's two. It's titled tactics.
Absolutely. Give me 1 second and I'll go ahead and look it up.
I couldn't figure it out, so I know Monica's the queen of figuring out the slide situation. So.
Here, let me show you something about mastering the morning. See, that's my, in the mornings, I just, that's my alarm system. Anybody that knows me knows that's what I do in the mornings. It's from one station to the other. So it starts 5:30 in the morning, 7 in the morning. I'm doing my affirmations, 7:30 hitting the phones on expireds, 8 a.m. Role playing. If I have to post on a certain, that's my posting 8:20 and 9:15. Are you my next appointment? Because that's the next phase of.
That's how you get stuff done, sticking to that schedule. How many of you guys have heard of the Miracle Morning? Have you read that book?
Yeah.
That's an amazing book, right? So it talks about that miracle morning. What are the wealthiest people in the world doing? He did the research, and that's pretty much they had amazing mornings.
Right. That is pretty cool what you have there.
So basically, it's prioritizing. We have these long lists, and we think the longer the list is, we feel like we're being productive. But at the end of the day, it's about discovering what your one thing is, and then what are these items on your to-do list or your task list that are going to create that success list and get you to that one thing. So it's not, again, about just having this long task list. It's about prioritizing that list and deciding what are the items that you can actually remove from your task list and actually leverage and give that to somebody else. That's the who. Who can we give that task to, so that we could focus our time and energy on the one thing, or the things that matter that get us to that one thing, right? Thank you,
Again,
for sharing.
Yeah. And again, it's having, always knowing what's the best use of time.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, with the books, it doesn't take much. Like, for example, I wanted to share with you guys, with regards to mindset. 212, you can actually go on YouTube, listen to the video. It's something very easy, but we must all know that we're always one. This one I always love to, because it's an easy read. It's just a bunch of pictures, and it's my go-to when I'm having one of those days. It's, remember, you're always one decision away from changing your life. It's just that one decision, that one choice that you made that day. So always just think about it. Is this, the best use of my time, whether it's mentally, financially, just your time, how you use your time.
Absolutely. Are there any other things or any tactics that you want to share before we wrap up? I think we have about 4 minutes, and I think maybe we could have the last 5 minutes for question and answers.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know there's a lot of resources. I thank Janet, the board, Jennifer, for always being up. It's always, someone we can count on. But there's also, go to the NAR, National Association of Realtors. There's an app, the BeMinder. If you're having challenges with sticking to your schedule, Stick. That's another good app they recommend. These are all apps that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, they'll debit your account. So what's the best way? I mean, whether it's one way or the other, because sometimes accountability partners don't work. I mean, just find something that's going to help you, whether it's your phone alarm, whatever it is, there's a lot of resources out there, free resources, so use them.
Absolutely. We're going to be seeing this. I'm going back to tactics. We're going to be seeing this a lot, guys, as time passes. You're going to have a lot of clients reaching out to you with questions regarding forbearance plans. So this is going back to being the guru of information. We really need you guys to familiarize yourself with forbearance plans. I know Anabella and I talked about this yesterday. I'm going to ask Monica to share this org chart, because this is something that you could probably do a series of videos on. If you're looking for content, you're like, okay, what do I talk about? I could share one particular agent that did I think it was a 5 or 6 part video. They were all like 2 minute or less videos on forbearance plans. What are the pros and cons? What are the possible outcomes if you were to do a forbearance plan? Things like that. Monica, can you share that org chart for the forbearance plans?
Absolutely. I have the first one shared, and then there's a second one that goes through the script.
Okay, awesome.
Can you see that?
Can you see that, Anabella? No.
No. Oh, let's try that one more time.
Now we can see it.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica. Is this something that you prepared, Monica?
I are indeed, with permission.
Okay, perfect. So this is something, so if you have a client that reaches out to you regarding a question about forbearance, it's probably something that you want to go over with them in person, or maybe doing a virtual video with something like this. So it shows you what are the different scenarios. Yeah, if you're employed now, and then if you're unemployed, what are the different options? So this is not something that you could talk about in like a 5-minute conversation. You may be able to sum it up, but this is something that you could use to explain to them, these are the pros and cons. If you do this, these are the possible options. If you decide to do a forbearance plan, or if you don't do forbearance plans, what's the scenario going to look like? Can everybody see that?
Yeah, and it's also a great opportunity to explain the importance of meeting in person.
Yes.
Because so that's another thing you could share, and then try to schedule those appointments.
And we're going to share this with you guys. This is the scripts for decision points. How do you start doing the care call with additional question? How's it going? How's it like working from home? I have a lot of clients worried about the next several weeks. It could be months. So these are some of the ideas that you could do for outreach. Remember what we said earlier, if you're not the guru of information, if your clients aren't going to you for this information, they're going to go to somebody else, and you're putting them in a predicament where they could possibly, for example, if they go onto a forbearance plan and they had intended to do a refinance, now that you're on a forbearance plan, that particular bank may be reporting that to the credit bureaus. That just ruins your chances of doing a refinance, taking advantage of today's rates, which are amazing, for 12 months. So you guys have a duty. We as realtors have a duty to disseminate this information, not wait for the client to start, doing research and calling other people and getting misinformation. We have to be the guru of information to educate them, to help them protect the equity that they have in their homes. Imagine they can't refinance. If they would have refinanced, they could be saving $500 a month, or paying off all their debt and just having their mortgage payment. That could be $1,500 a month that you're saving a client. So we have a duty, again, guys, as realtors, to educate our clients, do outreach, and help them be in the best possible situation, protect their wealth, protect their equity. Right, Anabella?
Yeah, and I'm glad you're sharing this. And unfortunately, we don't all have access to this. We're blessed. You're blessed to be part of Keller Williams. I'm blessed to be part of a Century 21. But like I mentioned before, even the National Association of Realtors, if you log in, they actually have coronaviruses, resources for property owners, and they go over. Obviously, they don't have the script, so thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that. But
we're
Monica,
share that with everyone. By the way, we'll share with Jeanette, because we want to make sure that we're helping all of our clients. It's not just for our clients; it's for everybody's clients, right? And like Anabella, NAR, CAR, we get those weekly or monthly newsletters. If you go to the website, Anabella, she had tons of topics that you could share with your clients, either calling them or posting it on social media, putting that on a newsletter, sharing those with your clients.
Yeah, some of the topics include, and obviously not limited to, but coronavirus mortgage relief, what you need to know, home buying and selling during the pandemic, what do you need to know? These are 5 relationship saving strategies for any couples buying homes during these times. So these are all great articles that can spark a conversation with your CRM.
This is where our dues go to. This is the information that CAR and NAR is basically congregating so that we could use in our daily business. So if you wonder where do your dues go for membership, it's to create content like this, to protect our industry, our rights as realtors.
It's so amazing, Jennifer, that even if you wanted to have a webinar, they have PowerPoint, like from beginning to the with the script and everything. So there's no excuse why we're not reaching out to our clients.
Don't reinvent the wheel, guys. The information is there. We're going to share with you, that 5-6 series of videos. If you want to do one on forbearance plans, we're going to share with you the charts, the scripts for those events that we talked about. We're going to share those websites like bingobaker.com, thebannerseason.com. We're going to be sharing all that information with you guys, because we want you guys to not only survive during these times, but we want you to thrive. Any last words, Anabella, before we go into the question and answers?
Well, we love this platform because you and I come from a place of contribution. So I just hope we helped someone out there. And if you guys have any additional questions, obviously, I don't know if you guys can see this, but feel free to reach out to us, and we're here for you guys. So thank you guys so much for spending your morning with us. And Jennifer, as always, you're the best.
We're best to have you.
We do have a question. I'm going to unmute David.
Hi, David.
I'm going to try to unmute David. There we go.
Hello?
David.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I've been to a few of these meetings, Zoom meetings with a couple of different offices, and there is a top producing agent out there that works. I'm just talking about a tactic that he uses. He is doing much better now than prior to COVID, and he uses this tactic because FHA is coming back, and the rate is so low with FHA and mortgage insurance that the blended rate of the interest rate and the mortgage insurance is less than the conventional. And
Right.
he's out there basically saying, do you have $20,000 as a down payment? And they're like, yeah, a lot of people do have $20,000. Can you afford $3,000 a month? And a lot of people can't afford $3,000 a month. And they're like, and he's like, well, you could buy pretty much a $500,000 house. And that sparks a lot of interest in people because most buyers, or I'm going to say all buyers, are payment shoppers. They're not shopping necessarily by the price of the house. They'll see a price and they're like, oh my God, I can't afford that. But when you tell them what the payment is, they're like, really? And that's what happened back in 2003, 4, 5, 6. Nobody cared what the price of the house. They cared about what their payment is. And all these out there, he's promoting the down payment, the payment of the mortgage every month. And he's telling them you could get into a $500,000 house with $20,000 down, $3,000 a month. And he is doing way better now than he did all of last year with openings. He opened up like 9 deals in like 2 months. That's just a tactic he uses, and he's a top producer. And it's maybe something, you guys might want to try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine if on top of that, not just the down payment, but again, being the guru of information and being resourceful, right?
Yes.
The guru of information, the realtor, the guru of information, and knowing, for example, that there's a particular bank that is giving up to $25,000. I know Anabella is using this program a lot for her clients, where they're giving up to $25,000 of closing cost assistance. So all you have to come up with your down payment, and then you have a bank that you're working with that's helping you cover pretty much all of your closing costs, buying the rate down or buying out the MI on, let's say, on the loan. I mean, exactly what you're saying. You're helping put a lot more people into homes, and you're eliminating a lot of misinformation out there, because a lot of clients think that they have to come up with like $30,000-$40,000 to be able to buy a home, and that's a myth. It's not true at all, right, Anabella?
And it's so true. And a lot of these, David, along with those, we have other programs, where we have frontline workers, where there's grants for them. The minute they buy the home, that grant is forgiven. They don't have to wait the year. They don't have to. So it's a lot. I mean, it's just being out there. We have the internet. Just go out there and get your feet wet.
I mean, there's City of LA has the MEPA program, or they're giving anywhere between $60,000 to $90,000 of down payment assistance, guys. Know the programs, be the guru of information, because you're going to be able, it's not just so much about more commissions, it's about helping more people get into homes and helping more families build wealth. Because if you help a family build wealth, you're creating a legacy. Most likely, if that family now owns a home, what is the likelihood of the kids buying homes and their grandkids buying homes? You just completely change a family's life.
Right.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Well said.
Well, Monica Rivera graciously is allowing everyone to download the forbearance training video. Monica, if you can turn that to everyone instead of privately to me, then everyone could cut and paste your link. There are no hands up. Does anyone have a question? No one's raising their hand and no one's putting anything in the chat box.
That means we're great teachers.
Okay, well, I cut the link to the video. So if anybody wants any of this information, they can email me or Anabella or Jennifer. My email is evp@daor.com. Oh, Karina, beautiful Patrice has her hand up. Let me unmute her. Karina, unmute. There she goes. Hi, Karina.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Just wanted to personally thank these powerful ladies that are doing phenomenal business out there. And I truly look up to both of them. They are professionals, ethical, etc. And thank you so much for contributing to us and pouring into agents. You don't have to do this, but by taking the time, it shows that you have a servant heart and always giving back. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you, Karina. We love you.
Love you too.
No, she's so cute. I love her.
Okay.
No more questions. And so I have the link, and you guys know how to get a hold of Jennifer and Anabella. Do you guys want to say your email address real quick?
Go for it, Anabella.
Sure. Mine is very easy. It's annasellmeahome@gmail.com.
Awesome. I'm gonna give you our main email. So in case I overlook it, I have Monique to send me screenshots and let me know that we had something coming in. So ours is offers, and that's plural, OFFERS, at theavallangroup.com. So you could, if you want any information or any of those websites, any of the slides that I wasn't able to present but that I shared, we'll go ahead and send those over to you. Jeanette, can I say one more thing before we wrap up?
Yeah, and we do have one more question if you guys don't mind.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna say the Avellan Group, it has released 2 scholarships for 2 seniors that are graduating this year that are enrolled in higher education for 2020-2021 school year, or going into the military. I don't know if you can share the link or the website. So if you know of any amazing seniors that are graduating this year and would like to get a scholarship for $500, we're going to share that information with you, so you could either submit the application on their behalf, have them do it, because we know there's some amazing seniors out there that could utilize that scholarship. So please, and it's for any high school senior in the U.S. It's not just locally.
I'm gonna talk to.
No, I hit the button to.
I don't see you on the Zoom.
Okay, Linda, you had a question.
Hi, how are you, Anabella?
Hi, Linda. Good. Thank you, Fred, for always being so supportive.
I am supporting. I know how it is to be a producer. I guess my question is that I think it would benefit everybody is, what drives you both to just get it done? I feel that that's really something that is challenging for so many people. I mean, personally, me, my drive is just surviving in a way, like get it done, just like basically helping other people is number 1. And number 2 is I could do this. I mean, I know that that's my core in the morning, that I could get it done, just get it done. So I'm wondering what's yours. There must be a statement that goes in through your morning.
Go for it, Anabella.
For me, it's the one thing, it's my kids, leading by example, because your kids don't learn what you tell them. It's what you show them. It's by what you're doing day in and day out. So teaching them that everything is possible. You never settle for less. And number 2, the same goes for my fellow realtors. I believe it or not, I do a lot of this, and that's why I'm heavily engaged in participating in these activities, because I too want you to know that just like I did it, you could do it too. And Jennifer, myself, Linda, it's like all of us, Jeanette, we're all here for you. And if you need any help, if we just change one life today, I mean, we've made a difference. So definitely, I mean, just being out there and showing everybody the possibilities, that's definitely what drives me the most.
Awesome. That's a great question, Linda. I think my two biggest drives are, I'm a firm believer of building wealth for families through real estate. A lot of people ask me, why aren't you in the higher luxury market, things like that? I mean, it's, you set up a business plan and do it, right? But I just, in my heart, it's so important for me to educate our local communities as well as helping them build wealth. There's no better satisfaction to me knowing families that I helped, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, selling their home and knowing that that equity that they have, that 150,000 or that 100,000, that 80,000 from purchasing that real estate that they didn't think was possible because they had that misconception that they needed to have a lot of money to be able to buy a home. We're able to help them, with the LIPA program where they put 1% down of their own funds, less than what it takes to rent. That's what drives me. That's one of my main drivers, is that there's too many families out there that need to build wealth, that, they're working their entire lives, minimum wage, and what's the legacy they're going to leave behind?
Right.
They work all these years, 50 years of their life, just to be on Social Security and still be in an apartment, right? So that's one of my biggest drives, one of many, many drives.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome answer. I totally 100% agree. I think the biggest part that I learned is don't be attached to the outcome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I get my team members give me a hard time, like, why are you spending so much time, selling that $30,000 mobile home? Like, because that family needs us, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's $1,000 commission or a $15,000 commission, they need our help. Right, and it's no one better than us than some random agent that may not do what's in their best interest.
And that's why I think we connect so well, Jennifer. Because I too, that's like there's no better satisfaction than helping those families that thought it was impossible.
Yeah, and then another drive for me, just like you mentioned, Anabella, is ensuring that my team meets their goals. Like, they have a dream, they have a vision. So that's what motivates me as well, is ensuring that they're taking that accountability, whatever it takes to get them to that next level. That's something that's really important to, like, the team, our culture as well.
That comes with the responsibility of that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Helping them achieve their dreams. Yeah.
Well, you two ladies do have a connection, because we had 104 people viewing it on Facebook and 40 people here on the Zoom account. So you guys do attract a lot of people. We have to schedule a three-peat.
Yeah, we're going to do a mastermind. Everybody's ready.
There you go.
We need our own talk show, Jennifer.
Yeah,
that's right. I'll host it.
Okay.
We have Mike Ferry coming to the association Zoom-wise on July 15th too. So everyone mark that on your calendar. It will be at 11 a.m.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.
Thank you, Anabella. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.